Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, I'm Liz Krueger. I'm the state senator for the 28th district, and you are welcome whether or not you live in my district. And while this is the second day of my virtual senior resource fair, you are also welcome whether or not you define yourself as an older New Yorker, because all the issues we're discussing in the 3-day process can be extremely relevant, whether you are in fact an older New Yorker or you are helping someone who is an older New Yorker to live their best self lives, or if you are just thinking about all of these issues for yourself and realize that this information can be valuable to you. I want to both welcome all the participants who are viewing by Zoom or Facebook, or some people are calling in. This is the second of 3 virtual sessions. We used to love doing the Senior Resource Fair live in a huge room with hundreds of people there, but unfortunately, because of continuing concerns around COVID and exposure, we're trying it again this year via virtual. As always, if you are watching this via Zoom or Facebook Live, there is a closed captioning option for you. And you can, as a viewer, activate closed captioning either on your Zoom device, looking for the click on live transcript in the meeting controls to start viewing the closed captioning, or if you're on Facebook Live, you'll see a setting button on the bottom right-hand corner of the video. Click on CC for closed caption to activate the process. This forum is being recorded, and everyone who RSVP'd will receive an email with a link to the event video and the resources that are posted on the chat within a few days, along with the presenters' PowerPoints. Don't feel like you need to have a pencil and paper and scribble down everything that you are learning or hearing. We're going to be sending to you as well. I forgot to mention the name of the discussion we're having this afternoon with our experts, which is Essential Movement for Older People, Keeping the Body Strong and Healthy, which is a critical issue regardless of your age. As I mentioned, all of the materials can be sent to you. We also have a senior resource guide that my office and interns in my office put together with great care and detail, and you both can get access to it online, and we'll reference the address for finding it online, but you can also call or email my office to get a hard copy of it. And it's one of the things we put out that we actually do recommend a hard copy, because it's a book, basically, with a huge number of resources that can be helpful to you as an older person living in New York City. It's not really specific to my district alone. A couple of quick reminders. Early voting begins this Saturday, October 29th, and runs through November 6th. Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th. To find out your early and Election Day polling sites, you can call the New York City Board of Elections at 866-VOTE-NYC, or go to their website, which will be posted in the chat. Just to clarify, your early voting site, the poll location, may be different than the polling site you have to go to on Election Day. So find out both until you're sure exactly, are you going to vote early or are you going to vote on Election Day? What you don't want to do is go to the wrong place and be frustrated by having to go to a second location. Finally, regarding vaccines, if you're trying to locate where you can get your COVID booster or your flu shot, you can click on the New York City Department of Health Vaccine Finder. The link is posted in the chat, and most pharmacies in New York City are providing vaccine opportunities for people if you want to just go to your neighborhood pharmacy and ask them. Research continues to show that exercise is a key component of healthy aging. Exercise helps older adults to maintain our strength, flexibility, and improves our balance. A stronger, flexible body helps us to navigate our busy streets, our crowded stores, and maintain our functionality as we age. Brain imaging even shows that exercise makes our brain more plastic, which means we can continue to develop our brains as we age. On a personal note, I have seen the positive effects of exercise. I'm working out twice a week nowadays, and I know I feel much better and stronger than I used to. Today, we're having an expert team to take you through several exercise and meditation practices. I'd just quickly like to introduce them before we start to roll them out. First up is Castro, a senior instructor at Senior Planet, who will talk about the importance of exercise and meditation as we age. Following Kaz, we will have Caroline Coles, the Senior Director of Health and Wellness at the Marlene Myerson JCC Manhattan, who will give a brief overview of the programs and services of the JCC. And then Jacob Glassmeyer, a master Tai Chi teacher, will demonstrate this valuable practice, which helps us to maintain balance, strength, and flexibility. After Caroline and Jacob, we will then have Lynn Crimando from Health Advocates for Older People, who will show us what we can do to become stronger, maintain our balance, and prevent falls, a critical assignment for us all as we're getting older. And after Lynn, Sara Berg, also from the Manhattan JCC, will take us through a cardio demonstration. Cardio can improve our stamina and allow us to engage in activities we enjoy. Finally, after Sara, Castro will be our final presenter and will return for a cool down with a gentle stretch and meditation demonstration. And in case it wasn't obvious, we're encouraging you to follow along at your home with the presenters as they present, because no one's watching you, you're watching your computer. So just start doing it with us all today. And you will find that it's the beginning of some things that can really help you on a daily basis. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Castulo Castro, also known as Kaz, to be our first presenter. Good afternoon, Kaz.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you very much, Senator Krueger, for inviting me to this program. This is my second time here. And yes, it is important to exercise every day. I remember a famous saying from Jack LaLanne when I was a kid. I used to hear him say, if you don't use it, you lose it. So it is important to stretch, because unfortunately, as we age, we bring along luggage, and we have to develop and maintain our muscles, our flexibility, increase our circulation and blood flow. And along with that, I teach every morning at 10 o'clock on a Senior Planet platform, morning stretch. All of you are welcome to do that every day at 10 o'clock, just a half an hour. And we also always close with a meditation. We do meditation. Meditation is one of the best anti-aging techniques. It can slow down the age process. It connects you, it grounds you. It works deep down into your energy channels. You channel the life force energy that surrounds you, and much more, much more. And with this, I'm going to pass the mic now to Caroline and Jacob. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kaz. I couldn't agree more. If you move it, if you don't move it, you will lose it. I'm Caroline Coles, everybody. I'm the Senior Director of Health and Wellness at the Marlene Myerson JCC Manhattan, and it's my pleasure to be with you here today. The JCC is located on 76th in Amsterdam in the heart of the Upper West Side. It's host to hundreds of incredible programs ranging from health and wellness to arts and culture, from children and families to our modern aging center. And we are proud of our vast array of programs that educate, inspire, and transform minds, bodies, and spirits. The Center for Health and Wellness at the JCC in particular offers a holistic approach to stimulating your mind, strengthening your body, engaging your heart, and connecting you to a caring community. With fitness, aquatics, positive psychology, brain health, and mindfulness programs all under one roof, you have everything you need to fulfill vital personal health goals and a community to help you do it. Very much in the spirit of today's fair, the JCC is committed to providing fitness for everybody, people of all ages and physical abilities in a welcoming environment. Please stop by the JCC on 76th in Amsterdam and say you were sent by Senator Krueger, and we'll be glad to welcome you for a complimentary visit and also extend a $200 discount on our health club membership. Use the discount OPEN20 to get $20 off Sara or Jacob's classes or any senior fitness class series that is starting in November. Please visit mmjccm.org/senior-fit for more info and to register. I look forward to seeing you all at the JCC. And now, Jacob, take us away with some wonderful Tai Chi.
Hello, New York. I'm so excited to be here with you all. If you would, please find a place that's comfortable for you to stand or sit, because the practice of Tai Chi that comes to us from so long ago allows us to have medicine and meditation in motion. Let us use the sound of silence, taking a breath in through our nostrils and then exhale. It benefits us to breathe through our nostrils for so many reasons we just can't go into right now. So whether you're seated with your ankles under your knees or you're standing with your ankles under your hips, let's take a breath in, hands float to our hearts. Let's take a breath out, our hands sink back down. Now this movement we will call gathering the chi. Chi, translated, is vital life force. So yes, the force is with you. So let's take a gentle breath in. Now, any movement that we do today and your body asks you to take a detour, right? We want to find the ah in the movements, definitely not the ow. Arms float up, sinking down. Now, if you will, let's open up like we're gathering all the positive energy from those people that bring us positivity and connection. Tai Chi is a wonderful practice that helps in so many different ways, from dynamic balance, strength, mental health, de-stressing. Now join me, my friends, if you will. Let's reach up to the sky. Reach high of what high is to you today. There's no definition of how high you go up, but now gather that energy and just draw it in layer by layer of you. A little bend to your knees, if you will. If we can, we'll tuck our tailbones slightly. There are 5 families of Tai Chi plus other ways to practice. Adaptive Tai Chi, traditional. So we open up, lengthen the spine, the mind, and the breath. And as we come down, let our arms become completely relaxed, draping alongside of you. Gently, let's take our body just swaying side to side, just a little, with our knees bent. Now, my friends, if we're seated, it's a little press into the leg, release, a little press into the leg, and then release. We sink back and forth. Now, the step that you came in with, or if we're seated, let's just take a step forward. We'll use the yin-yang side. That's the yin-yang symbol right there. Take a little step forward. Now, I tell you what, let's take a step back, okay? Put the foot back where it was. I've been waiting to tell you this. Take a step to the beach. Here we are. Coming back into place. Notice if there's one side that feels more stable than the other. That's the beautiful thing about Tai Chi. Let's continue. 2 more steps. And we can find the strength and the balance in the body while we bring the energy in and out with our breath. Now let our feet rest in place. Let our hands reach forward, making a wave, if you will. I'm going to change my angle just so you can see what I'm talking about here in our world of 2D, right? So we rise up. Now, if we're seated, it's a little lift of the heels, okay? As we sink down, the heels come down, or if we're standing, our knees gently bend. Breath in, breath out. Talk to the shoulders. You know that one that lifts up too high? Let it rest. Breath in, breath out. Let me turn back to see you. We're going to do that one more time. Listen to the sound of your breath. Let your arms go completely heavy. And we're going to bring our feet what is together for you. Seated, we'll take 2 half steps or standing. Pause here just for a moment. Let's take 2 cleansing breaths. Now let's open our foot. You pick the side you want to step out with. Seated, 2 half steps would be best. And this is called opening the door, the first movement in all the classics of Tai Chi. Did you know that Tai Chi is really Tai Chi Chuan, which means grand ultimate fist or supreme ultimate boxing? It was the martial art back in the day. Now here, let your palms come down just to your waist. We're going to open up and just open to what's comfortable for you and bring your hands into your heart space. Sinking down, we bend our knees just slightly. Did you check your tailbone a little tucked? Maybe? Yes? Great. Let's open back up. Let this be your breath in. Let this be your breath out. Now, remember that step that we took just a moment ago? We're going to do that again. My invitation to you, though, my friends, is pick the foot you want to step out with, because we're going to do both. Bring the hands into your heart space. Take your step out, and like we're going to give each other a high five right here. Now, turn the palms to face you. Leave your back heel to the floor. Wonderful. And then we come back out. So if we're seated, we just extend our foot to where our toe will plant to the floor. And when we step, our gait is wide enough, which is called a bow stance, that we can rock back and forth. Find where this rocking sensation feels best to you and try to let it be just as fluid as you possibly can do. I work a lot with the senior population, and some of the folks, they just get so much enjoyment out of the calmness and the peace that it brings in place. Now let's step back into place. Your arms continue, but we shift and we take our other foot out. Did you feel a difference in the strength of your legs? How about the range of motion of your arms? Now the arms don't go completely straight, and our legs either. And this gives us the ability to find a more fluid movement through the body, bringing in this calmness, working with our parasympathetic nervous system. I call it the license to chill. So if you will, let's step back into place. Let your arms sink down, come back out to our W. We'll call it the W, just to the height of your collarbone, sinking back in. Now let the hands sink down. We come back to the first movement, closing the door. As opposed to opening the door, our feet come together. We float up. Elbows sink down. Let the whole body sink. So if we're seated, we're just going to lift our heels up just a little, just enough to say they're off the floor. Standing is just enough bend in your knees to say, well, that they're bent. So here we go. Let's open the door. Stepping open, what's comfortable for you. Arms drift up. Sinking down just to the waist. The W. Gather our hands into our heart. Shift to one side. You pick the leg. A breath in. Step, push, breath out. Let's pull back in, stepping back in. Feel the crown of our head pulled up to the sky. We shift our weight. Substantial and unsubstantial weight. So substantial to the front, now substantial to the back. Let's step back into place. Now, this next movement comes to us from Qigong. It's called 8 brocade Qigong. We're going to hold up the sky. So our hands draw up, originally created, let's reach to the sky, for medicine in motion. It was created long before, a few thousand years before Tai Chi was. And its name, Qigong, means to work with your energy. So breath in. If we can, we'll breathe in all the way to the top. I know we all have different lung capabilities and capacities, so just take a long, drawn, relaxing, cleansing breath that works best for you. Let's have one more right here. A breath in. A breath out. Now back to one of our first movements. I invite you to open up and gather the energy from those people that bring you positivity and connection. Draw into your mind space that place that brings you peace so we can tap into it anytime we need to. With your arms gently floating back down beside you, let your arms drape alongside you as we draw the crown of our head up to the sky. Let's take a breath in through our nostrils and breathe from spine to sternum. Imagine your body is floating in space. all the tension is let go, so we can find the flow that feels best to us. And with that, everyone, I thank you so very much. I am Jacob Glassmeyer, your Tai Chi guy. The pleasure is mine. And next up, we have Lynn Crimando with Strength, Balance, and Fall Prevention. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Jacob. It really has been a pleasure. Hi, everybody. I'm Lynn Crimando, and you can find me on Thursdays at 12 o'clock online for health advocates for older people, where I'm teaching a class on essential movement for functional aging. And I'm going to make the case today that if you're not doing strength training, balance training, and fall prevention, you are missing out on two of the most important aspects of work that we can do in aging. And why is that? Research shows that there are three factors that can interfere with our longevity. Loss of gait, that's the ability to walk in what's called the sagittal plane. That's the ability. You see people who toggle along, but gait, healthy gait, is the leg swinging straight forward, straight back. Loss of gait speed, if you find that you can't walk as fast as you want to, that is a sign that something's not going well. And poor balance skills. That combination is a sort of a risk factor, not only for falls, but also for loss of longevity. And what's the big deal about that? Well, what is the most important thing we do every day in the way of balancing? Balancing is the act of going from 2 feet to 1 foot and back again, changing your base of support. What is that? That's walking. So to take one step takes 200 muscles. So balance and walking are super key aspects of functional independence. If you want to remain in place for all the days of your life, you must be able to do the activities of daily living, like walking up the stairs, opening a door, pulling something out of your trunk. Both of those tasks, all of those tasks, in fact, are a combination of three factors: see, hear, and touch. Proprioception, knowing where your body is in space. It's never, I'm going to give you some bad news in a minute, but I'm going to tell you that it is never too early or too late to prepare for healthy, functional aging. And I want to say also, because some people think, oh, I can't do strength training because I have a joint replacement or I have osteoporosis, I can't bend over. Today, we're going to do a little sequence of strength training, mostly in a chair that does not require you to move your joints very much. It's going to be a kind of contraction of the muscles called isometric. Isometric contraction is a way to strengthen your muscles without moving your joints. So if you're concerned about safety, this is the way to go. So we're going to go through a few things in a minute. As we prepare, I want to talk to you about falls. So as we're doing that, one of the most important things about falling is to remain stacked. And one of the things that stops us from stacking is when our shoulder blades get stuck. And a lot of us have stuck shoulder blades, and it causes stoopy posture and head forward position. So what I want you to ask you to do right now while I'm talking to you about falls is I want to ask you to see if you can find your shoulder blades and move them. So a lot of people do think that this is a shoulder roll. This is a shoulder girdle roll. So as I'm talking to you, just move your shoulder girdles. And I want to say a few things about falls and why fall prevention is so important. You may know some of this. Falls are the #1 cause of trauma deaths and hospital admissions for any age group. It's the second leading cause of accidental or unintentional death worldwide. But this number is a much greater risk if you're over 60. And I'm sorry to tell you this, women, but you're 10 times more likely to fall than men. 1 in 5 falls results in a serious injury, such as a broken bone. Falls are also the top cause of traumatic brain injury. Now, 95% of hip fractures are caused by falling. usually by falling backwards or sideways. 20% of the people who break their hips die within a year. Now, I want to talk to you osteoporosis folks, because you think that osteoporosis is a fall risk, and it's not. People who have osteoporosis fall at the same rate as people who do not have osteoporosis, but they break their bones at a greater rate. The bigger risk is poor posture, poor core support, and something called hyperkyphosis. And we've all seen that stoopy posture where the thoracic spine, which is the rib cage spine, gets stooped over and your head gets jutting forward. And you can now, if you think of that see, hear, feel thing, those are all off. I can't see the right horizon line because my head's over here. There's a interference with the signals coming in and out of my nervous system because my neck is in the way. And I'm also interfering with my breathing if I've got this hyperkyphotic posture, because my rib cage is literally crushing into my lungs. So the highest morbidity rates for falling, believe it or not, are people over 65 and children aged 15 or younger. Why is that? Because children aged 15 or younger are the ones doing those weirdo skateboard things off of a mesa and think that they're invincible, but we don't need to worry about them. If you fall once, you're going to have double the chance of falling again. So it's super important not to fall. And one of the greatest risks of falling, you'll be surprised to hear or not, is fear of falling. So why is that so important? Fear of falling causes what's called altered attentional process. It means that you're putting your attention in the wrong place. Sometimes you're girding against a fall. Girding against a fall prevents you from being able to actually come into balance, because this isn't activity that is conducive to you being resilient. Stiffening strategies are what they're called. They're likely to be helpful if the wind comes up and you're girding against the wind. But if you're holding yourself like that while you're walking, you're much more likely to fall because you can't react, you can't plan, you can't motor plan around where's an obstacle. And the anxiety about falling interferes with your thinking process. So we don't want to have fear of falling. So how do we get over fear of falling? We have confidence and strength and good alignment. So I thought Jacob's presentation was fantastic. And one of the things he was doing, which is super important, well, I'm going to say two. One is that movement, Tai Chi, Qigong, and yoga, practices like that are what's called breath-based movement. It's moving on breath. And the other thing he was doing beautifully was what's called dynamic balance. Walking is dynamic balance. I shift my weight, my body adjusts. I shift my weight, my body adjusts. So practicing dynamic balance is much more helpful than standing on one leg, because you want to practice what you want to do in your life. So we're going to start working on the aspect of gaining confidence and core strength wherever you are, whatever kind of shape you're in. And we're going to start with something called the shush breath. And the shush breath is going to help you to find your intrinsic stabilizing subsystem, also known as the core. So all movement comes from here, the lumbopelvic hip complex, and the core, that subsystem, are the deepest muscles that sit on your lumbar spine and relatives to the lumbar spine. So we're going to do a breath-based movement that doesn't require you to move, so you can learn how to do some, let me move my chair back so you can see me. It doesn't require you to do any super big movements, but you'll still get the effect. So if you would, put your hands on your lower belly so you can feel this. Now, there's no reason to do a gigantic big breath almost ever, and certainly not here. This is going to be the only time. There's another thing Jacob said that's so important. I want to take Jacob's class, by the way. So important was that you should always breathe through your nose and keep your mouth shut, especially with COVID. But for this one exercise, we're going to learn how to find our core using our breath. So I'm going to put my hands right here. I want you to take a regular breath in, not a deep breath, just a regular breath. And you're going to eject it through your teeth. And you're going to make a shush sound. And you are going to make that exhale as long as you can make it. Don't make it as long as I'm making it. It's my job to do a long exhale. So we're going to take an easy breath in. And then we're going to at the end of the exhale, I'm still holding these muscles in. I'm going to now release them slowly and let my breath return with my mouth closed without a big inhale. So again, I want you to watch my fingers for a second, because what's happening, and it's happening all the way around, and you can observe this in your own body, is that this subsystem, this stabilizing core is contracting, it's co-contracting. All these muscles here are co-contracting. Easy breath in. Hold it out, hold the tone. Release slowly, take a catch-up breath if you need it. Do a couple more, easy breath in. It's kind of like zipping up, if you know what a wetsuit is. A wetsuit that's a little too tight and it's already wet. That sense of, or a pair of jeans that's really tight and you almost have to lie down on the bed. Those are the core muscles, and you don't need to do a super strong breath. Now this time we're going to take off the training wheels. So if you've been able to find your core and you feel the muscles contracting, contract them on purpose. Easy breath in. Keep your mouth closed, and now only you can hear the exhale, and see if you can engage your core muscles. Pause, hold the tone, release, breathe in easily. So I don't have time to do a great deal of practice with you, but I also want to show you how you can do strength training, again from a chair. Again, I have no props. I'm worried about standing up. I might fall. I have osteoporosis. None of that is going to prevent you from strength training. So we're going to do something called body weight resistance. First of all, let's take an easy breath in and sweep our arms up, and an easy exhale and bring our arms down. Take that again. Easy breath in, easy breath out. Now this time, add the core exhale. Easy breath in through your mouth, keep your mouth closed. Exhale through your nose, zip up that wetsuit. And one more time. Now we're going to add what's called body weight resistance. I'm going to imagine that I have a 50-pound weight in each hand, and I'm going to take that breath in. And now I'm going to lower it slowly and push it down. You want to keep your shoulders soft, your chest open. Did you feel how that powers up the core work? So let's do that one more time. Easy breath in. Easy breath out. Now this time, I'm going to push a stuck elevator door, and I'm going to press it down. As I sit up straight, I grind ground my two sitting bones into the chair. And at the end, notice your posture and notice your sense of stability in your core. So we have very little time. I'm going to show you how to strengthen your legs. It's the same idea. If you want more, come to my class on Thursdays. We're going to sit as if we want to stand up. So this is going to be isometric work for your whole leg. On your next exhale, you're going to easily draw in the core and then push down through both feet as if you're going to stand up, but don't stand up. Can you feel all the muscles in your legs working? Those are your prime movers. These are the prime movers of walking. And release. One more time. Easy breath in. Exhale, press down to lift up. And release. This time, easy breath in. Press down to lift up. Keep pressing and stand up and see how you feel. Let me just check my time. Okay, so very quickly, I'll show you a very quick balance to start working on. So I'm standing up and I'm not going to move anything. You want to be holding 2 fingertips on your chair, on the wall. Don't do balance work without knowing where's your support. Now I'm going to put my feet right next to each other. So I'm narrowing my base of support. I know where my chair is. I got 1 finger on the chair. I'm standing up as tall as I can. And now I'm going to close my eyes. So close your eyes. And notice what your body is doing. Your body's going, wait a minute, what's going on here? It's doing a little bit of work to figure out how to balance. So when we play with creating strength, dynamic movement, which Jacob showed so beautifully, and different kinds of ways to straddle the feet or narrow the base of support, it's not going to interfere at all with your joint movement. And you'll be able to intrinsically tone your core, strengthen your prime mover muscles, and it feels really great when you're finished. And with that, I will turn this over to Sara Berg, who's going to take you through cardio.
So I have a quick, good morning, everybody. I'm Sara Berg. I'm just putting on a little bit of music because when I do cardiovascular work, I work with music. So welcome to the cardiovascular section. And I'm just noticing or in myself thinking that some people are afraid of cardiovascular because it sounds like you're going to get too overworked, but we're not going to do that. I am inviting you to join me in some movement, whether you are sitting in a chair or whether you're going to stand up with me and join in this type of exercise, which is cardiovascular, using oxygen and regular movement to try and increase the regulation of your heart and therefore get your heart stronger by using the breath. I do normally teach at the JCC, which we like to think of stands for Join a Caring Community. And you heard earlier Caroline speaking about that. I'm going to put the music on so that we can start moving. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what we have. So you are welcome to join me with movement, whether you're sitting in a chair or not. I'm actually going to show you sitting in a chair in a minute, but right now I'm standing. This is sort of using the same things that you just saw from finding the balance of the weight of your shoulders over your feet, pulling in just or balancing from the bottom of your abdominal wall. I'm just letting my hips move in time. If you're sitting in a chair, that's probably hard to do. I'm going to invite you to lift the arms up and down in time to the music, whether you're standing or sitting. When you start taking your arms up and down, sometimes your breath starts to move a little faster right away. That may not be true for all of you. Now I'm just sliding my hips side to side, and I encourage you to do that. I teach a lot of different kinds of classes at the JCC, Basic Fitness, Fitness Plus, and I have a lot of seniors in my classes. But in my classes, I allow people of all different levels to come in and work together. whether they are senior, whether they are strong, whether they are in a wheelchair, any way we are. I'm just going to take the hands here and move the hips, and this you can do if you're standing, and then just add an arm. Watch me take a chair here. If you were sitting in a chair, you could put your fingers up, move your rib cage, and stretch your arm. And you still could be using rhythmic movement. Just get your body a little warmed up. Now I'm just, from my standing move, gonna stay right here. I'm gonna roll the head, which I do encourage you to do. Now, if anything that I'm having you do starts to take yourself into an uncomfortable place, you can always modify. Can you roll your head the other way? I'm just letting myself dance my hips a little bit. I would be doing that even if I was in a chair. Okay, so now I'm taking it to a little step, which is fine if you're upright and standing. If you were in a chair, you could just move your feet side to side, even a small amount. And then if you wanted, you could let the arms come up and down. You can do it in that soft, gathering chi way, or you could take it all the way up. I'm going to show you standing again. Just try to follow the music, even if all you're doing is letting your body sway. We're trying to rhythmically work. I'm going to take my arms up and down and just add that little step. I'm always asking people to just modify according to the body that they came to class with and how you're doing that day. Good. 3 more. And again, you don't actually have to move your feet either. You could just be moving your hips, lifting your rib cage, stretching your chest. All right, shoulders are great. Let's turn sideways just a little bit. And if you can you roll your shoulders? That you can do from the chair too. Try to keep the rhythm. Think of it as dancing. There's many, many, many different types of classes at JCC, such as brain health classes, nutrition classes, help for just a lot of fun social things like bridge and mahjong classes, political groups to discuss things that are going on in the world. Now I'm going to take this and drop my chin down and roll up. Here comes the sun. Press the abs in, release down. If you can go all the way down, great. If you can't, you don't have to. And that could be in the chair too. So if you're starting to feel a little bit up in the breath, a little bit sweaty, well, that's part of the plan. I'm never asking you to feel uncomfortable. 3 more. So again, you just work at your own pace, sending the blood flow through your body. Good. 2 more. 1 more. So there were so many interesting conversations. We just have a little change here. I'm going to sway here. I'm going to move here. This could also be in the chair. I'm going to move the ribs and sway the torso. Now this could be, if you were wanting to take your cardio a little bit up, you could do it down here, down here. If you were standing, see if you can move your rib cage side to side. I'm really being careful with my shoulders that I'm not tightening them up. I'm trying to let my arms kind of flow with the rhythm. Again, in my classes, I allow people to go higher in their work, a lot more movement of the legs and the foot. I'll show you a little bit. But if that wasn't you, you would stay where you are and find ways to move around. Now, I do like to do a little bit with balance. I'm just going to take it to a little march. Not fast. Well, the faster the rhythm. And if you were in a chair, you could actually march your legs. And now you're going to notice what I'm talking about next, which is actually great for balance. I'm using my arm muscles to move just a little bit. I'm going to come forward and back towards the camera slightly. This is what I do with people when they're working at home. I'm pretending that I have something balanced lightly on the top of my head. And in my class, it's often a tiara. That's what we like to wear, or a big crown. This is just using the rhythm, letting the arms relax, maintaining a little bit of stretch across the chest. If you were somebody who could really move a lot higher, you could pick it up, but that's not a requirement. I'm just going to have you do this, if you're with me, like 2 more times, forward and back. Might be getting sweaty, might not. You could be in your chair. I'm going to take the feet wide and swing the hips. Now, what would I be doing in a chair? I'd be taking that out and moving my ribs and lift my shoulders. 4, 3, 2. Excellent. All right. Last thing, all the way up. And if you can, take it all the way down. Now, again, that can definitely be in a chair. All the way up, all the way down. If you can, go all the way up and arch it up a little bit to the ceiling. And if you can, take it down. If that's not okay for you, just modify. 3 more. 2 more. Now let's try this. Hands on the shoulders. Can you move your spine and lift your elbow and lift your rib cage? Now, this could be a bigger movement if you added moving the legs and feet, but that's not required. I'm keeping a little bit of lift to the side of the waist. I'm keeping my chest open. If that got hard for you, holding your hands up there, you could move right in here. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Feet a little bit apart. Reach it up. Reach it down. And again, I'm just modifying, going very slowly. Don't have to go fast, but if you were stronger, you could go faster, and that would push your heart rate even more. Good. 4 more. And in my classes, if you really can't follow something or you're just too tired, I say to people, just dance. Just dance. Find a way to use that rhythm. Maybe make it bigger. Remember this move? I'm just using the hips a little bit. One of the things I'm doing is actually moving my foot slightly, which just let me do the hip slightly and side to side. 4 more. 3 more. So again, if you're keeping it small, that's all right. 2 more. All right. Just cooling down. And release all the way down. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. All the way up. Now I'm going to move my hip. This is standing. Now we could be taking the arms out and in, out, in, out. That could be in a chair. If you were strong enough to add a little bit more leg work, take the hips lower, in, out. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Bring it down. Roll one shoulder. Roll the other shoulder. Because I can't see you, I don't know if you are able to work within the range of motion that's appropriate for you. That is something we work on in my classes. And if I can see you, I can tell how you're doing. All right, last hip movement. Hip, hip. Let's try this. Hands to the armpit. We're going to push forward, back, forward. If you were more capable of leg and torso and arm coordination, you could lift, I'm not requiring that, or side step. There's lots of ways to put these movements together. 4, 3, and taking that down very, very, very slowly because we're now cooling down from our little 10-minute session. I just want you to take your shoulders and roll one, roll the other, and see if, just like we were talking about earlier, you can keep the center of your abdominals under the movement. Think about moving the hips and the butt just a little bit and really making those shoulders roll. So I am going to be handing this on to Castro, but first I'm going to just let you cool down a little bit more, assuming you were moving along with me. And I want you to put your hands on your thighs and press back just slightly, pulling in your low stomach, and then just lift up. Now, if you're in the chair, that is actually exactly what I would want you to do, but put your chair more, your hips in the center of the chair more, So you have a little bit more press. I don't know where you were sitting, but hoping that we're using the chair. No, I moved it away too far. To put your hips on so that you could just access that lower back. Now I know that Kaz is going to be doing some stretching with you and then some meditation. So I think you'll be in good hands after that. Now, watch what I'm doing just slowly. We're going to do 4 more of these. We're going to sit back, tuck the tailbone a little bit and press in those zip up muscles. And then just like what was being demonstrated, letting the thighs work with the muscles between the legs for balance. And all the way up. I certainly hope that I see some of you in my classes at the JCC in the future. Do come and say hi to me if you do. And with that, I'm going to hand this on over to Kaz Castro.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sara. Awesome exercise, very active. Yes, so everybody get ready. We're gonna just sit upright in our chair. I'm gonna share some music, some background music a second, and yes, we're gonna start. All right, so let's just move our chair, moving my chair a little bit back so you can see me in a better position. So every morning at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, New York, I teach a morning stretch class from Mondays to Fridays. And we start first by grounding and centering. Okay, we ground and center because our mind is usually very, very fluctuating. We want to center our mind, body, and spirit and invite an intention into our awareness. Remember, the power of intention has a transformational impact on your energy. So by that being said, let's close our eyes and take a long, slow, deep breath in and a soft breath out. And let's repeat that again. Let's take another long, slow, deep breath in and a soft breath out. With our eyes closed, let's take a brief moment to check in with ourselves. Using your mind's eye, I want you to listen to my voice as I guide you. I want you to bring awareness down to your feet and observe your feet, everything concerning your feet, your toes, your arches, your heels, your ankles. And from your feet, you're going to move up to your legs and observe your legs, your shins, your calves, your knees and thighs. Just observing, no judging, no anticipating, just observing, connecting the mind, body, and spirit, as I said. And now let's observe our glutes. The pelvic floor, the sit bones. Feel the weight of your body beneath your sit bones. And now observe your lower back, middle back, and upper back. And relax your shoulders. Observe your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, your palms, and fingers. And then move your attention to your belly and your chest and observe how they rise and fall with each breath. And now we move up to our collarbone, to the base of our throat, to our neck, the back of our head, the top of our head, the temples, the ears, the cheekbones, the cheeks, the jaw, the chin, lips, nose, eyelids, and eyebrows. And now, last but not least, we focus at the mind's eye. Remember, we are all architects. We are the architects of our life through our thoughts, through our feelings, through our words and action. So take a moment to create an intention. And whatever you want to manifest, try to see it, try to feel it, try to sense it, and know that it's yours. And as you visualize your intention, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, send it out to the universe so it may unfold. Okay, now as we open our eyes, I want you to sweep your arms around you. Bring your arms above your head and join your hands at the heart center. So you join your hands. Interlace your fingers and push your palms out, stretch them out. And again, let's inhale and elongate the spine, opening space in between each vertebrae. And then slowly as we exhale, we bring our arms back down between our thighs. And let's repeat that again. Take another deep breath in and elongate the spine, aligning your biceps with your ears. And then exhale, bring them down to your thighs. Okay, place your hands on your lap. Now I want you to move your head like a heavy bowling ball, soft head rotation. Inhaling, exhaling with each movement, bringing all your attention inside. Okay, now let's move our head in the opposite direction and letting it roll like a heavy bowling ball on our shoulders. And now let's shrug the left shoulder a couple of times. So draw the left shoulder up to your earlobe and back, up to your earlobe and back. And repeat that again on the right side, up to the earlobe and back, and observing each movement. And now I want you to reach out, take a deep breath in, and stretch your arms out, and open and close your hands, open and close your hands. So clench your fist and fan your fingers out. And now I want you to clench your fist and roll your wrist. Imagine you are rolling down the window of a car, or moving your wrist clockwise and then move your wrist counterclockwise. And now touch your shoulders and roll your elbows forward. And then roll your elbows back. And now place your hands behind your head, everyone. And I want you to arch your back and lift your chin up. So I'm gonna switch my view a little bit over here. You arch your back and lift your chin up. Then as you exhale, round your back and pull the belly button into the spine. Let's do that again. Take a deep breath in and open your heart and lung channels. And then as you exhale, bring your elbows together, pulling the belly button into the spine. Let's do that one more time. Take a deep breath in. They call this seagull breathing. And then exhale, round the back and pull the belly button into the spine. And then come back upright. I want you to turn to your left side, look over your left shoulder, and place your right hand on the outside of your left knee as you look over your left shoulder. Okay, just observe the breath. And let's repeat that on the other side. Your hands behind your head, turn and twist your right shoulder. Place your left hand on the outside of your right knee as you look over your right shoulder. Okay, and then just come back to your center line. Now move your trunk in soft circles. Remember to breathe, inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. Soft torso rotation. And then roll back, the same movement in the opposite direction. Okay, now, as we pause, I want you to grab your left knee and pull your knee up towards your armpit. Pulse on it a couple of times. And then roll your left foot a couple of times. Roll it. And then bring it down. Let's repeat that. Grab the right knee, pull it up, twirl that right foot a couple of times, clockwise and counterclockwise. Very good. Okay, now let's do just one sun salutation. So I want you to breathe and take a deep breath. Gather all that life force energy that surrounds you and bring your hands to your heart center. From your heart center, shoot your hands out and align your arms with your ears. Arch your back and look up to the sky or to the ceiling, and then bow down and touch your toes. Ready? And then we inhale, go back up, take a deep breath, arch hands out in front of you and bring them back into the heart center. Yes. Let's do that one more time. Ready? Inhale. As young as we keep the spine flexed. Exhale, we bow down, touch our toes. Relax our neck, our jaw, our shoulders. Then we come back up. Inhale. Open heart and lung channel. Your hands out and back into the heart. All right. So that's the stretching part, a very soft, mild stretching. Remember, you can always join me on morning stretch. Now we're going into our mindful breathing meditation, okay? So meditation can be your best medication. And to meditate is just by observing your breath. Close your eyes and open your mind's eye. And let's sit in an upright position, your back, your neck, and head reasonably straight. And bring awareness into your body by following the flow of your breath. Observe your inward breath. Observe your outward breath. Keep your mouth closed, and you're breathing in and out through your nose. And release all thoughts in an attitude of non-thinking. Just breathe and let everything be as it is, relaxed in the now. When thoughts arise, let them pass like clouds in the sky. Remain alert and don't fall into sleep, and don't drift into thinking. Let go of all expectations and desires and remain open and present to reality as it is. Just breathe and observe. Breathe and observe. Let the breath take you deeper and deeper into the body. The quality of your breath will be the quality of your life. And if we learn to breathe, we learn to live. Remember that all that we are arises with our thoughts. And with our thoughts, we create the world. And before we close our session, let's join our hands and let's repeat the 5 universal principles. I'll teach you the 5 universal principles. And that is, just for today, I will let go of worry. Just for today, I will let go of anger. Just for today, I will work honestly. Just for today, I will be grateful. And just for today, I will be kind to others. Right? Now, as we open our eyes, we salute in the traditional manner. The universal salute is Namaste. My light salutes your light. Thank you. And I'll turn this over to Senator Krueger. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kaz. Well, I feel both that I've worked out and I have relaxed. So before we get to the Q&A part of the sort of remainder of today, the question we've gotten from the audience, and so I want to ask each of you to let us know, how do we find you again? Are you teaching a class online or in person, where and when? So maybe I'll just start with Kaz. Kaz, are you teaching something online that people can sort of go into or in person?
Yes, I'm teaching on the Senior Planet platform. You could go on their website, Senior Planet, and there's a whole bunch of classes, but I teach specifically every day, Monday through Fridays, 10 o'clock to 10:35, a morning stretch class. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4 o'clock, an afternoon stretch. On Thursdays at 2 o'clock, we do a mindful breathing meditation. It's an hour long, sometimes incorporate Reiki, and it's always varied. We always do different types of meditation. Yeah.
Thank you. And how about you, Caroline?
Well, I teach Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m., something called NIA, and also on Mondays at 6:15, Robin teaches, and then I also teach NIA for people living with Parkinson's on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 o'clock, and people who are experiencing cancer at 4 p.m. on Tuesdays.
Great, thank you. And Jacob, how about you?
Well, you can also find me with the JCC, the same place as Caroline is and Sara. And my class is on Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And you can look for it in the search bar on the JCC page, and you put in Improve energy through Tai Chi and Qigong, or improve energy and balance Tai Chi and Qigong. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lynn?
I am online on Thursdays at 12, teaching a class called Essential Movements for Healthy Aging, where we go over core strength, balance, power mover, muscles. But in addition, Health Advocates for Older People presents both in person and on Zoom a whole bunch of classes and workshops. So I'm also currently on there are 2 more weeks left doing a posture series. Posture is super, super important for health and longevity. There are 2 classes left. Everything they do is free. So Health Advocates, the link is in the chat. You can find me there.
Great. We're putting everything in chat. And Sara, not to forget you. You're
Okay, so at the JCC, I have a class on 9 a.m., which is taught both in person and virtually, so both options, which is called Basic Fitness, which is a how-to about exercise that includes cardiovascular in a very light to medium way, some strength training, some alignment work, and some core work. And then on Wednesday, I teach Fitness Plus, which is supposed to be the advanced class of Basic Fitness, which is just a little bit more of everything, putting more movement together. That's also at 9 a.m. at the JCC, which is also in person and virtual, causing the teacher to need to split her brain between 2 sources. And then on Friday, I actually have 2 classes called Sculpt and Align, an 8 a.m., which is virtual, and a 9:30, which is virtual and in person, where we address alignment and how strength training comes out of alignment. It is a movement class. We don't stop moving to stop and talk about it, but it is a very much of a building class for strength and then alignment and how strength continues to grow. Saturdays, I have a 10 a.m. Saturday class at the JCC, which is in person only, which is called Fun with Fitness, which is anything I think is fun. That's how I describe that class.
Thank you. All right, so we don't have that many questions today, but I'll just sort of jump into them. One of you talked about that you teach, I think, NIA or NIA. Can somebody explain what that means and what the teaching for that is?
Sure. NIA is it's been around for about 40 years. It's cross training through movement. It incorporates martial arts, dance arts, and healing arts. So for example, Tai Chi, Taekwondo, and Aikido, the sensation and movement patterns from that. Then it's modern dance, Duncan dance, and jazz. So there's lots of different ways to move energetically like that. And then yoga, Feldenkrais, and Alexander. And that's a bit like if you go to the playground and remember when we were very, very small and you slide down the slide and you swing on the swings and you do all different kinds of things with your body. It's the same principle, but using movement. So I would say it's cross training with fitness, with movement, and it's fun and anyone can do it.
Thank you. So this is near and dear to many people's hearts. A lot of us have knee problems as we get older. What kind of exercises are best for people with knee issues, or which ones should we avoid? Whoever would like to jump in there.
Well, Tai Chi is a wonderful way to become aware of your body in space and time, your proprioceptive skills. And so through the practice of Tai Chi, you do become stronger through your legs, and it helps assist you in the balance that you need. Now, we don't have muscles in our knees, but we have the muscles that cross over the knees. And so the practice of Tai Chi and Qigong brings you more balance and strength to the legs. Bad knees, what not to do? Don't jump. No jumping, no sprinting, unless it's a life situation need. Those would be my tidbits. I have knee issues, so I don't jump, I don't run.
Great. And I'm assuming similar recommendations for people who had joint replacements. Does anybody want to jump in there of things you should be careful of if you've had a joint replaced?
I would love to know what Lynn has to say about this. I think she's expertise.
Okay.
Yeah, so what we did today, and I didn't really have much time to do it, but we did what's called isometric contractions. So there's 3 kinds of contractions: isometric, eccentric, concentric. They're all useful, but for people who have issues, the movement we did with the legs, where you pressed your leg into the floor, you see that we're activating the muscles and we're not interfering with joint function. At all times, you should be checking with your healthcare provider and asking if you've had a joint replacement, because people with hip replacements, some of them have issues with internal rotation, some with external rotation, some have tracking issues. So you want to be super careful that you have checked in with your healthcare professional, but it's super important to have strength around your joints if you have vulnerable joints. So one way to do that is with isometric work, and then you, as soon as you can, you want to add eccentric work. So here's a really quick, do we have time? Can I show you, Liz?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so you've all seen a bicep curl, right? So everybody do this with me, and you got a big weight in your hand. So here's a concentric contraction. When I do this contraction, I'm going to shorten these muscles and they're going to contract, and you can see it when I do it, right?
Right.
I'll do it with weight, so it'll make more. You see that my muscles are contracted. Now, an isometric contraction, I'm holding and I'm not moving. This is actually, for people who need it, really effective, but people who don't need it, it's not the most efficient way to gain muscle. The most efficient way is eccentric, where I'm lowering slowly against the resistance of gravity. So you can play with all three of those components. And in all of these exercises that were done today, everything that we did today would work. But you want to strengthen around the joints in an integrated way. There's no such thing as isolating a muscle. If you can isolate a muscle, you've never seen the human body without its skin on. So you want to work full body. You want to work with breath. If you're not working with breath, you are not getting high oxygenated blood to every cell of your body. So you want to be doing breath-based movement. I think I've talked enough.
Yeah, Liz, I also noticed that Jacob was shaking his head because there's a lot of Qigong and you too, Kaz, right? That you can do to strengthen that really is very, very safe. Did you want to just say something? Did we have time? Jacob, about that? I was thinking the tree, you know.
Yes, so there's a practice of non-movement, but it's movement. And the non-movement is standing like a tree or standing like a tree post. And this movement is non-movement on the outside. Yet we focus everything being in a relaxed state, yet everything is structurally contracted just to maintain with your slow twitch muscle fibers. And then from here, we start to focus on what's on the internal and what we start to feel in the non-movement and where we go in our mind space. But just holding in this position, the core stabilizing, feeling your feet rooted into the floor and breathing through our nostrils brings so much peace with no movement, yet there's movement inside here. Thank you.
Thank you. So somebody else raised questions about the ubiquitousness of osteoporosis. And it is true, after a certain age, lots of people, I think disproportionately women, are suffering from osteoporosis. So I know that's also a medical question that people should certainly talk about with their doctors, and there are medications, but are there exercises that can actually help you address osteoporosis if you know that you have it? Or actually, is there exercises that can help slow down the speed at which you might have your bone density problems, which is what osteoporosis is, become a problem?
Yeah, I'd love for Lynn to comment again, but I just want to say that, you know, the bones are the foundation of our body, right? And so taking care of our bone is really, really important, as is our sarcopenia, our muscles, making sure that we don't lose muscle mass and that we also maintain our bone mass. And what Kaz said at the very beginning, if you don't move it, you lose it. It's really true. The whole body needs to be in motion, and that's really helpful. And then when we get into a situation where our bones are a little bit more, let's say, porous or osteoporosis, or even our muscle where we lose bone mass, which can happen, let's say, if we have had a hospitalization, we've had an injury and we've lost some of our muscle mass, then we really do need to do a little bit extra, more movement, and get into more of an exercise program, even more. But Linda or Kaz, did you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, I would like to talk about, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Linda, and then we'll go to Kaz. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What creates bone density is stressing the bone. That might sound counterintuitive, but weight-bearing exercise, walking is the best exercise you can do. Do not put ankle weights on and blow out your knees. Just walk. Walk uphill. Don't walk on a treadmill. If you can, walk up and down hills. Go outside, get some air, keep your mouth closed, breathe through your nose, and walking. So weight-bearing exercise. Now, people, I think that a real disservice has been done with people with osteoporosis because they're afraid. They're afraid to bend over and tie their shoe because they think they're going to break a bone. Compression fractures in the spine happen in the front of the spine, not the back of the spine. The back of the spine, as you can see, is very protected with bony stabilizers and big things, big gnarly things that stick out. So people who do strength training, work out with weights, and do safe work from the inside out that stabilizes the core are going to stress the bones in a way that creates bone material. That's, yeah.
Thank you. And Kaz, you wanted to jump in also?
Yeah, just in reference to when you get your muscle or your leg isolated. When I was 25, I had an injury with my leg and had my leg in a cast for like 11 days. And I lost all my muscles on that leg when they took it off. I recuperated just walking, jogging. Also, Qigong and Tai Chi is very effective because where you direct the mind to the different parts of the body, the Qi will go in there and fill in, and you can read about it. Qigong and Tai Chi are excellent for, bringing energy and filling up the bone mass through your intention. You can also see that on Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks about how visualization can help you a lot. The mind is very powerful. So you got to try all those. Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you. All right, so a couple of people have questions about exercises that are putting weight on your head, and concerns that you may find yourself dizzy if you're moving your head too much, or if you're, I guess, going up and down too fast with it. So are there alternatives or just other recommendations people have about how you, I guess, exercise your neck and shoulders without putting pressure on your head?
Sara, did you want to talk about that? Because you deal with that quite a bit.
It's true. The thing is, if you're watching somebody who's doing a huge range of motion, and if you were to try that range of motion, it would make you sick, or it would compress your neck, or it would cause you to become disoriented. That means that in yourself, you need to modify to a much smaller range of motion that's appropriate for you. And what I find in class sometimes is people just want to belong and want to go way down and way up. And then unfortunately, their bodies don't like that. So it is important with the neck, with the shoulders, with the head, that you work on your own balance. This is what I was talking about in terms of the alignment and how the strength comes out of it. And give yourself permission to be where you're at, and then very slowly increase. And that includes going down or going up. We have some people in my classes who never go down and up because they one time fell over. And that's fine. I don't ever want anybody to fall over in my class. That's strictly forbidden. But you are allowed to work tiny, small increments and build your ability. And I always hope that everybody has permission to know that talking about weight training, talking about cardio, talking about walking, if those are none of those things you can do right now, but you can build to it if you start with where you're at. And that includes up and down and neck and shoulders. I hope that was helpful.
And we're really talking about the vestibular system. And
yes.
Lynn, did you want to talk a little bit about that? It's important to use the vestibular system. It's in the inner ear because that's going to impact our balance and our proprioception, and it can increase our fall risk if we're not using that and if we're not doing different things. In fact, some people get so afraid when they exercise to move their head that they keep their head really stiff, and that affects their alignment. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I will say a few things. One thing is, if you're having trouble moving your neck, it's probably there's a saying in physical therapy that is, the pain is not usually where the problem is. The problem is typically, so I had people move their shoulders and I didn't ask them to then move their necks. But a lot of times what's holding back your neck is that 20 muscles attached to this one right here. And these guys are really short. And we've got our chin thrust forward. And all of that is going to distort the system that's coming into the brainstem, the nervous system, going back out to the muscles. So first and foremost, if you're getting dizzy when you're exercising, you need to see your doctor. That's absolutely first and foremost, because remember that balance is a process of see, hear, and feel. And if you don't have two of those, you cannot balance independently. So if you aren't getting your regular eye exams, your regular ear exams, and working in a movement-based practice where you know where your joints are and where your body is in space, you're at a fall risk. You don't want to fall. So at all costs, you don't want to fall. I saw a question come in also about head rolls and head turns. And it's really important. If you are, I have a car now with a backup camera, but if you don't, and you ever want to parallel park, you got to be able to turn your head, right? If you hear someone behind you and you think it might be danger, you need to turn your head without needing to turn your whole body. So working on range of motion is important. But remember that as we age, some of these openings get smaller. And you get a lot of people have stenosis and arthritis in their neck. Someone asked a question about head rolls. This guy here is 12 to 15 pounds. I've got stenosis and I've lost space between my vertebral bodies. Is this a good idea? No, it is not a good idea. So it is a good idea to do breath-based movement. I want to add, by the way, yoga to what Cass said about breath-based movement. You want to move your head, you want to move your head, you want to move your head. But there are exercises called I always get the two names wrong, Cooksley-Cosley or Cawthorne-Cooksley. Cawthorne-Cooksley exercises where you're just doing that with your head to train the vestibular system. But for that, you need to go to an OT or a whatever they're called, the audiologist. I don't know who does that. Anyway.
Jacob, you look like you need to say something.
Yes. There's a book that was written. It's a study of Tai Chi from the Harvard Medical School. And there was a study done for individuals who had vestibular challenges. And the practice that they took them through was one group did, it was a 12-week study. They did it, I believe it was 3 times a week for an hour. One group did Tai Chi, and the other group did the we'll call physical therapy exercises. And at the end, they both came out with the same similar results. But the practice that you have within Tai Chi takes your body into such a dynamic range of motion that you have a greater sense of where you are through the dynamic movement of Tai Chi than just working strictly on a physical therapy program that deals just with maybe this area. So that way Tai Chi through the practice helps you focus on the entirety of you, making it more complete.
And Kaz, do you work with, sorry, Liz, did you want to ask? I just was curious about Kaz.
I want to go back to Jacob for a second. So Jacob, when I'm walking through parks in New York City, particularly I think near Asian American communities, but nowadays sometimes everywhere, and I'm seeing people do sort of group, very beautiful exercises. Is that Tai Chi they're doing?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can just jump into a class if you're walking through a park and want to try a little bit?
Well, I would say maybe wait till class is over and ask who the instructor is. So that way they can appropriately address maybe where you're coming from, as Sara had said, to find you where you are in that place and time to begin. Some classes are more advanced. There's a student of mine that I work with that he was put into a fully immersive class where he was the only one that spoke English. So he just kind of followed along with the movements and didn't have that chance to ask any questions until he found me. And so now his practice has advanced from what he knew before. So yes, wait till the class is over, ask to speak to whoever the teacher is or the professor or the shifu, which means teacher, and take it from there.
Great.
Or come to the JCC.
Right, or come to the JCC. I'm sorry. So Kaz, I think you had a question addressed to you from Caroline and I interrupted.
Yeah.
I was just curious, Kaz, you were talking about Joe Dispenza, and another way to work with this, especially let's say like my father who's had a stroke, and so his vestibular system is challenged, but working with the imagination, imagining his head moving, do you incorporate that in your stretch classes and find that to be effective as well?
Yes, I do. I do encourage the seniors when they have certain limitations, they can't stand up for a long time. I tell them whatever exercise, because I also teach a cardio strength training, and I encourage them to visualize and see themselves doing the movement in their mind's eye. And yesterday we were looking at a documentary about Dr. Dispenza. It says it does work if you put it to practice. The mind is very powerful, and you can't heal yourself through your mind's intention. So that's why it has a transformational impact, believe it or not. Yeah.
And then there was an earlier question, I think that was coming in response to knee issues. Is it true that strengthening your calves and thighs can help with knee issues?
I've heard that working your quadriceps protect your knees. You're sitting and you use the machine, or maybe if you have ankle weights and you sit and you just extend your leg out and in like you're kicking very slow and lock that quadricep, building up a strong quadricep protects your meniscus and your knees. And calves also coming up on your tiptoes. But it's always good to check with your health provider, make sure, everything doesn't fit everybody the same. So one size doesn't fit all. So we always got to make sure we address the exercise correctly.
Absolutely. And we've actually come to a little later than I was supposed to cut off questions, but they were so interesting and everybody's contributions were so valuable. So I'm going to close down today by thanking our terrific presenters, Kaz, Caroline, Jacob, Lynn, and Sara. And there's information in the chats about how to find them and their classes, and I think other classes that are being taught in the organizations they're affiliated with. Again, if you would like a copy of my senior resource guide, you can look at it online through a link in the chat. But if you want a hard copy, you can email my office, lkrueger@nysenate.gov, or call the office 212-490-9535, and we will mail you out a copy. And there's lots of resources for healthy exercise and other things you can be doing to keep your mind and body strong. I want to thank you all for attending and remind you that tomorrow is the third afternoon of the 3 sessions of our senior resource fair online this year. So that's tomorrow, Thursday, October 27th at 2 p.m. It'll be the final session of the senior resource fair, and it's about programs for older adults where they can actively engage in the arts. And so with that, I want to both thank all my guests, thank all my staff with whom I cannot possibly do any of this, and wish you all a good afternoon. And hopefully everybody got a little bit of a workout in the last hour and a half as well. So thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Senator.